Oh, it's always off. Oh, I'm actually live already. Oh my god. Hello everybody. I'm an idiot again. Let's see. I don't have the stream yet. We're looking at the Bubble Nebula. Bubble Trouble. How do I do this? Ah, the mysterious ways of internet. Yes, there are actually 4 people watching. I'm expecting maybe 4 or 5 people because in the Netherlands it's about 1 o'clock now. And yeah, let's see if I can see something. Jim is here. Jim says, good evening, Wido. Well, for me it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Hello, thank you for a live stream. Very excited for your show. Oh, Denon, you are expecting a lot of me. But welcome to the stream. Yeah, thank you for joining. And this is, as always, like a last minute kind of stream. Because we had some clear skies in the Netherlands and I just wanted to share my experiences. Yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit of what I'm doing tonight. I can also give a little update about how the family is doing, maybe not related to astrophotography. You can ask all kinds of questions, of course. And maybe I can tell you something about the latest videos I'm planning for my channel, the latest videos I have been releasing. And maybe we can talk about how to proceed with Astoforum, because I love to have your input as well. So we have Theo. That sounds a bit Dutch. Are you still awake, Theo, at 1 o'clock? And Simon from the UK. Hi, Simon. Welcome to the live stream. Maybe first a little bit about what I'm doing tonight, because I have, I think I called the stream Bubble Trouble. So that's not for nothing, because we are looking at the Bubble Nebula here. And yeah, as always, I am using my EQ6R Pro mount and my Celestron Edge HD with the 0.7 reducer, and I have my ASI 1600 Mono Pro. Anyway, but I had a lot of trouble. So maybe we can start with the first question I have for you. So maybe you can share with me what is the worst thing that has happened to you during a session, during an astrophotography session, because tonight I had several things that were not completely going as planned. I was really looking forward to like imaging early on in the evening, because the moon is, we don't have any moon now, so it's actually perfect for deep sky astrophotography, a perfect evening. So I already set up my astrophotography gear at, what was it? I think 8 o'clock. And yeah, everything worked out. Camera was cooling. The mount was slewing remotely to the target I wanted to image. But then plate solving did not work in Sequence Generator Pro. I didn't know why. So I slewed back. I did some polar alignment for like an extra half hour. I slewed back to the target, but somehow it couldn't plate solve the target. It couldn't find the target in the night sky. So I was having a lot of trouble finding this little ball here we are looking at right now. So I'm actually celebrating with you that we are now looking at something. We're looking at something. We are looking at a deep sky object, and it's the Bubble Nebula. But anyway, I didn't know why maybe to finish that story, I didn't know why plate solving wasn't working. So in the end, I tried to install another version of Sequence Generator Pro. So I'm using here a capturing tool called Sequence Generator Pro. I don't know if you are familiar with that program. But anyway, I tried to install a new version because I thought maybe that would solve the problem. But then I completely lost my connection from this program to my mount. So I could not connect to my mount anymore because this program is giving the mount slewing instructions. Anyway, long story short, I ended up also deleting EQ Mod and then reinstalling EQ Mod. Now, that's another program I maybe don't want to bother you with too much. But that's if you have a Skywatcher EQ6R Pro, you can remotely connect to that mount using EQ Mod. You can see it right here. Anyway, I completely set this up. I deleted the program, set it up again, and then at one point it started working again. So yeah, and I think it was about 12 o'clock when I finally got my first image of the Bubble Nebula. And another thing is that, and then I'm going to stop complaining. Another thing was that it's fogging up right now. So I have been going up and down to my balcony to actually wipe my what is it? Not the corrector plate, but the Schmidt plate that is in front of my Edge HD. I try to wipe that clean, and I'm also using a dew shield, but that dew shield is not enough. So I need extra dew heaters. But anyway, that's a little bit my story, and I'm happy that I'm looking at something. I'm looking at the Bubble Nebula here. So let's see, are there any more people here? Brandon from, I don't know, somewhere is asking real life stacking here. Now we are just taking pictures, Brandon, of the Bubble Nebula, 5-minute pictures using a hydrogen alpha, a narrowband filter from the city. Two-hand Uke retracted his message. Oh, that's unfortunate. Greetings from Texas, from the Astrophilosopher Apprentice. Hi. Brian says, hey. Hi, Wido. What is the focal length? Yeah, we are now imaging at a focal length of 1500 millimeters, more or less. And yeah, I'm seeing that the plate is fogging up again. I can see it already. But this is 1500 millimeters of focal length, basically. Let's see if I can... Oh, that's not a good idea. Let's leave it as it is. I don't believe Sequence Generator Pro live stacks sharp cap does. Yes, Dan. I think that's correct. I don't think there's any option in Sequence Generator Pro to live stack. I have a tough time plate solving with Nina. Okay, Brandon. Thanks for sharing that. So maybe Sequence Generator Pro is not the only program where you can have these kind of issues. I'm trying to balance the picture a bit so we can see the bubble a bit better. And Froman is here. Spent about an hour and a half aligning my equatorial platform for the first time, and then clouds. Yeah, clouds rolled in. Not too bad, but that broke my spirit. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's hard, and I almost quit this night. I was thinking at 11 o'clock, I'm not going to make it. I will call it a night. But then, yeah, somehow I got my gear working again. So I just wanted to share that with you in this live stream. So I'm from Illinois, USA. Hi, Brandon. Nice of you to join. Hey Wido, is it possible to use filters without the use of a DSLR camera? Greetings from Tilburg. Yes, Tom. And Tom, you're still awake. But Tom, you have to use a camera, right, for a filter. So if you're not using a DSLR, what kind of camera do you want to use? That would be my question for you. And yeah, you can of course use your filter with a DSLR camera, but you can also use a dedicated astrophotography camera to get into deep sky astrophotography. So yeah, with almost any kind of camera, there are some specific filters you can use. With the DSLR, I used to have a lot of clip-in filters. I really like them. You could just place them in between the camera and the telescope, and it always worked very well. And then, of course, I switched to a dedicated astrophotography camera that has cooling, and yeah, I also have a dedicated filter wheel with 8 filters in front of the ASI 1600 Mono Pro. That's a dedicated astrophotography camera. So yeah, two-hand uke. Would you recommend any particular brand or type of filter? Yeah, that is, of course, I think a long time ago, a video on filters, or a long time ago. I think about 8 or 9 months ago, and you should really check out that video. Yeah, it also depends what kind of filter you want to use. So the main thing you have to know is not only the brand, but what kind of filter are you going to use. So you have broadband light pollution filters, and you have narrowband filters, and both types are pretty different. So broadband filters are usually used to block out some of the worst light polluted lights from the city. And I know there's the L Pro filter, that's a pretty good one. And you also used to have the UTAG IDAS 2 filter. I don't know if it's still available, but yeah, these are good light pollution filters. And there are many others, by the way, so not the only ones. And for narrowband, of course, a lot of people use hydrogen alpha, oxygen, and sulfur filters to catch only a specific part, a very narrow, narrow part or a narrow band, basically, of the light spectrum. So we are only catching hydrogen alpha signal here. And you can see that this nebula, it emits light in the hydrogen alpha area, although I see that my corrector plate is fogging up. But anyway, and yeah, for good quality filters, you have, of course, also the Astrodon filters. They are pretty good, I know. And what you can also do is when you can also buy some narrowband filters with only 3 millimeters instead of the 7 nanometers I am using. So you have also 3 nanometer narrowband filters, and supposedly they are even better at producing a high signal to noise ratio. Yeah, the Optolong L Extreme, Brandon. Yes, I think that's a good light pollution filter. No camera at all. Oh, Tom is not using a camera. Are you going to use the filters in front of your eyes, Tom? I saw something about color filters. Didn't look too much into it. But since you are streaming though, I'd ask it. Wido, what is the field of view you are working with at the moment? Yeah, this is about, what is it? Like 0.5. I think 5, am I correct? I have to check. I can see it, I think, in the... can I see my... Yeah, here, that's 0.5 arc seconds per pixel. So, the complete view, let's see. I think I can check it in the frame and mosaic wizard. Let's see. Let's check that out. This is SH162, I think. Yeah. Whoa. No, I'm not having that kind of view. Let's check it. Oh, I need to redo it again. So my field of view, the scale is about 0.5 arc seconds per pixel, but it doesn't give me the field. Anyway, have to look it up. So I'm new to, Simon says, I'm new to proper astrophotography and I have an H-alpha filter and my camera should return tomorrow, Astro modified. Any advice? Simon, yeah, get out there and do some astrophotography, I would say. And if you have a hydrogen alpha filter, I would definitely look at some of the hydrogen-rich nebula that are out there. And in October, you could still, for instance, look at the Cygnus region. It's still pretty high up in the sky if you are in the Northern Hemisphere. I thought you were from UK, I think. But anyway, like the constellation Cygnus is still very high in the sky, so that's always good to image close to the zenith. And yeah, you have a lot of famous hydrogen-rich nebulas there. Like, for instance, I have to say something now, like the North America Nebula, of course. You have the Pelican Nebula there. Also the Cygnus region with the Crescent Nebula. That's a little bit of a tiny target to image. You need a longer focal length. For that, you also have the Veil Nebula. That's also pretty close up there. And a lot of different kind of hydrogen-rich nebulas. Actually, I would recommend you just download Stellarium, and in Stellarium you can just check out different kinds of nebulas that are in the sky. Yeah, and also a good idea if you're just looking for targets to image, and you're not sure whether or not they are hydrogen-rich. You can, of course, also go to Astrobin and just look at the different pictures other astrophotographers have taken and the kind of filters they've used. Yeah? So I hope that was useful. Same Brandon, yeah. I'm definitely going to use a DSLR camera, but I'm pretty new to astrophotography. I just bought my DSLR a few days ago. Oh, I just mentioned that. Astro tools for field of view? Yeah, definitely. Shall we check it out then? 19 people watching, nice. Astro tools. For some of you who don't know, if you want to calculate your field of view, astronomy tools, I think you need to place a dot in between. Site not available. Oh, then I did something wrong. Astronomy tools. Here we go. So you have the FO field of view calculator. Thanks for reminding me. Who was this? Dan. So when you go to imaging mode and you're looking at, it doesn't matter. Let's put M5 here. I'm currently imaging with the Edge HD 8-inch, and my camera is the ASI 1600, and I am using a 0.7 reducer. So here it's 0.55 arc seconds, and then my field of view is actually 0.71 degrees by 0.54 degrees. So finally I have an answer. And actually that's a very good suggestion then. So anyone, when you're going to buy a telescope and a camera, I would always recommend looking at astronomy tools, and especially also the field of view calculator, because it gives you an idea of, especially when you're just starting out. For instance, the Hercules globular cluster. That's a pretty famous target when just starting out. And look, with my Edge HD, I have a pretty good field of view here, where I can actually capture that great Hercules cluster. I think it's too close to the horizon now, but maybe another target. Yeah, of course, the Orion Nebula will come up again in wintertime. And actually, you can see with this with my Edge HD telescope, I can't capture the entire Orion Nebula. I will be able to get some close-ups of the core of the Orion Nebula. I did that last year. It was pretty awesome. But if you want to catch the entire nebula, you're better off with, I think I also have like a 480 millimeter focal length telescope with an aperture of 80, but it's about the focal length, of course, and without any reducer. So you can see the difference here. So when you have a 500 millimeter focal length telescope with, in this case, the ASI 1600 Mono Pro camera, this is a bit, with a DSLR you will get an even wider field of view. But yeah, with a 500 millimeter focal length, you basically with a regular camera, you will be fine. You will be able to catch the Orion Nebula and the Running Man Nebula that is in the neighborhood. It never seems to catch the Orion Nebula, although it's running. Anyway, let's see if I can still. Oh, yeah, I was afraid of this. I think I need to go upstairs to actually clean my corrector plate. But anyway, I'm talking to you now, so I will do that maybe in half an hour or 20 minutes. I'm definitely going to use a camera. Hi from Slovenia. Hello, Blue Neptune 84. Start with bright objects. Yeah, when just starting out, I would definitely recommend starting with bright objects because you don't need a long exposure time to capture them. And especially in the beginning, you have to get into this flow of setting up your equatorial mount, setting up your telescope and your camera, and maybe you want to work with some filter wheels and you're going to try to auto-guide. Oh, auto-guiding. We have to check that. Let's see if something goes... Okay. Oh, that's not great. The auto-guiding is not great tonight. And that is of course due to the fog probably. And there are also not a lot of stars nearby the bubble. Whoa, I'm kind of worried about this, but anyway. I think for tonight I'm just happy to be able to get my gear working. And I have to accept that we're not ending up with the best quality data here. Let's see. Yeah, bright objects. I was thinking about if you're imaging with a DSLR camera, I would definitely check out the Pleiades. Very bright object in the night sky, very nice to image. I would also look for bright globular clusters. I think the best one, M3, is too close to the horizon in October, but you still have M15, I think. It's a pretty brilliant globular cluster, a nice target, very easy to capture. And of course, when you can, you should definitely look at the Orion Nebula because it's so bright in the night sky. If you have binoculars, you can just see it with the naked eye. So you will definitely be able to catch the Orion even when you have short exposures. I can't find any video reviews of the ZWO 6400 Pro color camera. Have you seen any results from these cameras? Now, David, I wish I had one. Because I think that is the highest tier, like the highest camera they have, a CMOS camera right now. If I'm correct. I know that a lot of people are buying the 2600, the 2600s, mono and color versions. They are pretty popular because they are still in the 1000 to 2000 euro or dollar price range. I think that 6200 is still up from there, right? So yeah, I would love to see some results. Did you check Astrobin? Did you check if anybody was using that camera? And of course, you can always ask ZWO directly. Yeah, you can ask them if they have any examples of pictures taken with that particular camera. Thanks for your field of view and presenting this. Yes, Dan, and thank you for reminding me that I can actually use that calculator. Eduard Dominique, hi from Slovakia. Slovakia, you're also in the same time zone, right? So you're looking at me because maybe you want to sleep, but you can't quite sleep. And no, thanks for joining. Slovakia, I think I've been to Slovakia once. Don't you have like the Tatra, how do you say that? The Tatra Mountains in the north? That's a beautiful region. Kejoman, hey. Hey, Kejoman, you're still up. I think you're from the Netherlands, right? Sean, hello from Canada. Hello, Sean. Theo Utting, M31 makes a great beginner target and bright, fairly easy to find. Of course, yeah, I should mention the Andromeda Galaxy. Only the most famous galaxy we can image. So how could I forget? And thanks for reminding me, Theo. So the Andromeda Galaxy is the closest neighboring galaxy at 2.5 million light years from Earth. So it's basically around the corner. Orion is around 230. Okay, yeah, still, Orion is still a bit late to image, or at least from the Netherlands. And I would guess for a lot of folks in the Northern Hemisphere. We are here at 52 degrees latitude. If you are maybe a bit further down to the south, you can maybe see the Orion Nebula a little bit earlier. But I think the best time to image the Orion Nebula is December. But there is a huge but. We only have cloudy nights in December in the Netherlands. So I'm not done complaining, I guess. So December and January are perfect to image the Orion Nebula, but we are always lucky to have maybe 2 or 3 nights, or maybe even 1 night of clear skies. And then always it is very cold. So I know that last year I first had to wipe my balcony. I had to wipe it clean because there was a lot of snow on my balcony. So and then I'm also always worried about my gear. Like, okay, sub-zero Celsius temperatures. Is this going to affect my telescope and my gear? But I know I did it a couple of times, and I know the gear is pretty solid most of the time. But anyway. Holy schmoly, wee! We back. Jim Astro, what filter combo are you using for the bubble? Yeah, I was thinking just about to take the 3... this is actually terrible. It's fogging up. But I was thinking about using the 3 filters I have, the oxygen 3 and the sulfur 2. And the hydrogen alpha filter, and they are all 7 nanometer filters. And I'm always checking. So sometimes when there's not a lot of signal, sometimes you only have a rich oxygen and a rich hydrogen signal, then I'm usually sticking with that. But I'm always checking a little bit. Yeah, I'm always taking like the 3 narrowband filters, and I'm taking some pictures to look at the results. And after that, I usually decide maybe to drop one filter if the signal is really low on a particular filter. Hi Wido, hello from San Diego. Hello Rick, thank you for joining. Mike says thanks. Keiju Mansek says 600 light years. I'm guessing the Orion Nebula is 600 light years away. Any advice on a novice level autoguider? Yeah, I think when you're just starting out, you are probably best off with a small like refractor as a main telescope. Some of you will start out with a Newtonian telescope. There's always a bit of a debate about that. But I'm always recommending starting out with a small refractor telescope. And then I would just, for auto guiding, I would just go for a small guide scope, like the Orion 50mm mini guide scope. That would be a nice one. It's very easy to set up. And yeah, you can also buy a relatively cheap guide cam. So a lot of people are using the ZWO 120 mini guide cam. So for a couple of $100, yeah, it's always a money pit, but for it's not the, yeah, you can buy a decent auto guiding camera and a auto guiding telescope for a couple of $100 to start out with a refractor telescope. And actually, surprise, I'm still using a very small guide scope for my Edge HD 8-inch telescope. So I'm imaging now at a focal length of 1500 millimeters. But I'm still using a small, I think it's a 180 millimeter focal length guide scope. So, and I was actually surprised with the guiding results I was getting, but now it's actually terrible. Anyway, David says, okay, I will check Astrobin. I'm wondering if it would be a good fit on the Smith-Cassegrain 9¼ on the Hyperstar setup for quick shots. Yeah, it would give you an extremely wide field of view, I think, David. So in theory, that would be awesome. You can take some extremely wide field pictures. Because the 6200 is at even a higher or a larger field of view as compared to DSLRs. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I'm always afraid that at one point, because for instance, with the Edge HD, I'm now working with the 0.7 reducer, and I got decent, not tonight, but normally I have decent stars. Nice round stars, also towards the edges of the picture. And I'm always afraid that when I'm going to use a very large sensor, that I will see some vignetting. You also will need to get higher, like larger filters, I think. And yeah, it's a little bit a question if you can also catch sufficient light towards the edges of that camera sensor. Anyway, I don't have a solution. I don't have a definite answer for you, but I'm just thinking out loud here. I hope this is useful. Any advice? Oh yeah, you got that. I use the DSLR and the Star Adventurer. Yes, Sean. And that's nice because then you can just you are still mobile. You can still go out, get away from the city lights, and then look for a nice spot and set up your image and do some nice wide field astrophotography. I like that idea actually, and I never really committed to it because at one point I just decided that I wanted to have a telescope, and then of course with a telescope comes a mount and auto guiding and everything, and of course you can still. I traveled I think 2 or 3 times with my Celestron AVX and telescope servers, 500mm refractor, a photoline edition, that kind of gear. I still took it out to a site, to a darker site to image. But that's already a little bit trickier because then you need all kinds of gear that you have to take with you. It takes a little bit of planning, and I really like the DSLR and the Star Tracker setup. You just have your camera and your tracker and probably a decent tripod, and yeah, you can visit the greatest places and do some nice astrophotography. So I hope you have a good time with that. Eindhoven de gekste. All right, drunk geek. That's something they say in the Netherlands. Eindhoven is a city in the Netherlands, and it is in Brabant. And actually, I'm originally from that area, so. So he says, and Eindhoven is the craziest town in the Netherlands. Great, I have two, a DSLR and the Star Adventure L Pro clip-in. Larger money too. What scope are you using? Yeah, this is the Edge HD 8-inch telescope with a 0.7 reducer. So guys, you can see that the pictures are pretty terrible. So I think I will go to my balcony and I will try to clean the Schmidt plate in front of my Edge HD. So hope you stay with me, and if not, have a nice evening. I will be back in I think 2 or 3 minutes, and hopefully we will have a somewhat better picture of the bubble again. See you. Okay, where is that observatory where you need one, eh? I'm going to stop my tracking for a while because, yeah, let's center the target again. Let's hope that works out. So this is Sequence Generator Pro, and you can just recenter your telescope, and it's moving my mount automatically, basically. Okay, it has place of the picture. So let's start the auto guiding again. Here we go, and let's clear that up. And yeah, as a final thing, let's resume the sequence. So let's see if now the new 5-minute picture I'm taking, the hydrogen alpha picture of the bubble nebula, is a little bit better. But actually, I think I will not be able to use those images. Let's see. Yeah, this is of course moved. Maybe we can. I took about 12 right now. So let's see. The first, you can really see it that the plate is fogging up. So let's go back to the first one. Oh, I repositioned it also. Yeah. Anyway. So this is the first picture of the. Oh, what is it doing? Oh yeah. No. Wait. Yeah. Sorry. These are first some trial pictures. 30. Oh. So I always start out with. Maybe I can show it anyway. I always start out with 30-second exposures to just check whether or not the target is really in the center of my field of view. And if that is the case, with plate solving it's usually the case, then I move on and I take some 5-minute pictures using the hydrogen alpha filter. So you can really see what happens here. So the first one is pretty bright still, and then every picture is losing a little bit of brightness. You can see it. So the corrector plate, or the plate we have in front of the Edge HD, is slowly fogging up. Yeah, so not the best night for astrophotography, and I definitely need to buy some dew heaters here in the Netherlands. Jack Gadsden, what scope are you using? Yeah, this is the Edge HD 8-inch telescope, the Celestron Edge HD. Jerker, hi from a cloudy Sweden, yes. Hi there. And yeah, I don't know, what is the weather in the Netherlands? It's supposed to be clear, but it's fogging up, as you can see. Maybe I can check the cloud radar. It's always good to look at that. Clouds, wolkenradar in Dutch. Let's see what we are going to deal with for the next hours. Yeah, it's supposed to be clear, but there is a lot of fog in the city even. So yeah, we can see Ireland and Scotland, unfortunately cloudy. Germany and the Netherlands and also Belgium and Luxembourg are better. The north of France. So yeah. This is you. How can I get back to my view? Oh, this is my Crescent Nebula. I was pretty happy about that one. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's here. So, yeah, let's see if we will get a better picture of the bubble. Only 80 seconds to go. Let's see if you have any additional questions for me. Jim is asking, what do you think about using achromat scopes with narrowband, no color fringing? I heard. Yeah, Jim, I never actually tried that out. So I wouldn't know, but yeah, the color fringing usually happens in the like the RGB. The red, green, and blue are not well aligned in an achromatic scope, so that produces the color aberrations. So it could be that when you're just trying to get one signal, you don't suffer from those color aberrations. But yeah, I would be interested to see the results. Is the Celestron 9¼ or the 11 a great all-rounder telescope for imaging and viewing? Yeah, I think it is, but there are a couple of there are a couple of things to take into account, I think, Anthony. So first of all, what I do like about the Edge HD line is that what can I say? The Edge HD, of course, you have this field correction, and also you have the coma correction. So my microphone is doing some weird stuff, but because you have a field corrected and a coma corrected view, you will be able to do some deep sky astrophotography. For instance, what I'm doing right now with the 0.7 reducer. You have the hyperstar option. Yeah, that's of course an aftermarket thing you can buy to also engage in some wide field astrophotography. It should give you similar results to the RESA telescopes they have. And of course you have a large focal length, so you could also do some planetary imaging. I've tried to do that with my C8. And what you have to take into account is that often these Edge HD telescopes, they are also so there's often a package where you can buy the Edge HD, but also what are they called? The Nexstar Evolution mounts or the CPC fork mounts with those telescopes. And I'm not really a fan of those telescopes because they are altitude azimuth mounts. And if you want to get into deep sky astrophotography, I would always prefer to buy an equatorial mount. So that's maybe something to take into account. And the 9 1/4 and especially the 11, aside from the price, so I'm assuming that you can buy those the telescopes at that price. Of course, they are heavier. So the C8 is still pretty portable. That's 6 kilograms. So how many pounds is that? Maybe someone in the chat can help me out. But the 9 1/4 is already a bit heavier, and the C11. I would say if you have maybe a stable, if you have an observatory yourself in the garden, or you have one place where you can set that up, then it's no problem. But to carry a C11 around and set it up every time you are going to image, I think it takes quite some effort. So that's something to take into account as well. And that's about, I think, all I have to say on the Edge HD. So yeah, in principle, you could make it a nice all-round telescope. Into a nice all-round telescope. Try to get Kendrick SCT dual-lint. It works so well. Aha. Okay, Kendrick Smith-Cassegrain dual-lint. So not the AstroZap KGUM? Okay, I will check that out. Thanks for the tip. I'm behind on the chat because you can see the result, right? So I cleaned my plates. This was the final image before I cleaned it, and this is the new image. So if only the Netherlands was a little bit less moisty. But yeah. Right, let's move on with the chat. I had the same problem with my Smith-Cassegrain. One dew heater strap wasn't enough. Okay, Jim, thanks for reminding me. So I need maybe two. Eric van Zandt or Erik van Zandt in Dutch. Hi Wido, hello Eric. Ricky G. Oh, sorry, you're Rick G. Do you get good guiding with the 8-inch on the EQ6R Pro? I'm thinking about the 9 1/4 version on the same mount. Yes, and let's see what the guiding is right now, because I had a terrible guiding and now it's better. You see, it's at least below 1 arc second. And actually, Ricky, this is a bad night for me. Normally, I'm about 0.6, 0.7 arc seconds in my guiding. And yeah, you need that kind of accuracy, of course, because yeah, when you're going to use that, what was it, a 9 1/4 inch? Yeah, you will have a focal length the native focal length is even longer than my 8-inch. From the top of my head, you're then working with a 2350 millimeter native focal length. So. But I think the EQ6R Pro is still up for the job. And of course, you can then choose different kinds of guiding options. Yeah, yeah, you might want to use a bigger guide scope on your Edge HD. There is sufficient room on the Edge HD to place an extra bigger guide scope. A lot of people do that, but also a lot of people, they swear with like the off-axis guiding option, where some of the light from your main telescope field of view is split off to a guiding camera actually, and then you can guide using the same focal length you're using with your main telescope. So that would be a big advantage. Some people love it. I also saw some people complaining about getting that to work. So yeah. Mark Johnson, thanks for the video on AutoStacker 3. One of the best that I've seen. Hey, that's very nice of you, Mark. I put some time in that. I actually made I tried to speak a bit better English than I'm doing here in the live stream. I was also thinking about a nice flow. So yeah, I think it is a little bit of a specific video. I noticed that it is not getting a lot of traction, but my regular viewers that were also watching my planetary imaging, my live streams on planetary imaging. So I did some live streams in September where I tried to capture Jupiter and Saturn. Those people also watched the auto-staggered video. And I'm hoping that you have some value from that video. And next week I will try to release the Registax part. I was actually pretty amazed by what Registax 6, it's a freeware, what that program can do to further sharpen and denoise the stacked image you're getting from auto-staggered. But now we're talking about planetary imaging, of course. So yeah, check that out. I hope I will release it somewhere next week. So thanks for the compliment, Mark. I really like your positive feedback. Thank you. Eric Van Zandt. Spent some time on Jupiter and Saturn and stacked with auto-staggered. Just saw that you put up a tutorial, but I haven't had a chance to view. Oh, Eric, yeah. Maybe I should tell you something about my channel, to give you a little bit of insight of what I'm doing. So I'm pretty terrible at planning my videos on my Astroforum channel. But what I have been doing for the past month actually is first I have been putting up some live sessions, like I said, where I try to show you how I was capturing Jupiter and Saturn. And then I made a video about planetary telescopes, what kind of telescopes would be good for planetary imaging. And I also released a video about top 10 tips on how to capture the planets. That's from the gear you have to use, but also a little bit what kind of programs you can use, basically SharpCap and FireCapture to capture the planets, to capture videos of the planets. And now I'm in the final phase, so to say. So I just released an auto-staggered video, and next week I want to release a Registax video. And these two software tools, they are freely available. You can download them to further process your videos of the planets. Auto-staggered is great because it can stack the frames of your video into one higher quality image. And Registax is pretty great because it has a superior wavelets function basically, where you can denoise and sharpen your picture. And I'm trying to figure out what the different options are. And I hope to release that next week, and then yeah, I will have a short autumn holiday with my family, and then later on in the year I want to return to giving you more tips on deep sky astrophotography basically. And I'm guessing that in November and December and also the end of October we are going to have some pretty cloudy nights in the Netherlands. So I will be maybe talking a little bit more about how to process images, what kind of gear you can use to get into astrophotography and that kind of stuff. And if you have any kind of ideas about what kind of videos I need to make, just let me know in the comment section. I always try to read all of your comments. And I have my own website, astroforumspace.com. I should probably actually put a banner here, but yeah, let's say I'm still working on that. Right. So let's see. Eric Van Zandt is using a Meade 8-inch advanced coma-free. Yes, Eric, and then I'm so glad that I'm just an independent channel, because we also have to mention, we can mention the Meade. I was actually amazed by the Meade advanced coma-free line, and the 8-inch was still a bit similar in prices compared to the HHD 8-inch, so I think they are pretty evenly matched actually. And the only thing is that the HHD, it has this Hyperstar option, but if you don't care about that Hyperstar option, I think the Meade 8-inch advanced coma-free is really good, a good telescope to get into planetary imaging and maybe also some deep sky. So yeah. And I was actually amazed that when these the aperture, when it goes up in the Meade line, so you also have a 10-inch, a 12-inch, a 14-inch, and even a 16-inch Meade advanced coma-free. They're well priced. If you compare that to the HHD line and other telescopes out there, other Smith-Cassegrain telescopes, they are pretty, how do you call that, competitive in price. So definitely also check out the advanced coma-free line of Meade, yeah. And then we have Carlos Rojas Rodriguez. I'm sorry, I'm very bad in Spanish. Carlos Rojas Rodriguez. The rolling R. Rodriguez. Hello, I just bought an AVX with a 6-inch Smith-Cassegrain telescope. And I plan to use it with an ASI 183 Mono Pro. That's great. But I hear there might be some issues with the image scale. What can you advise me? Oh, I'm not sure about that combination in the image scale. But I'm guessing like the 6-inch, you have like a 150 aperture. What is the focal length of that Smith-Cassegrain? Maybe 1500 millimeters? Yeah, I don't know. The ASI 183 Mono Pro. Was it the squared sensor? Carlos, can you be a little bit more specific and tell me what kind of issues you might expect? Because I think you have a bit of a you have a longer focal length as compared to. Oh wait, we can use of course astronomy tools. Let's give Carlos a hand here. Astronomy tools. We are going to look at your setup. Why not? Field of view calculator, imaging mode. You are going to buy this SCT 6-inch. Oh, nah. 6-inch something. Celestron Astrophy. Yeah, that might be the. At least a 6-inch. The Astrophy is a bad mount, basically. Yeah, 1500 millimeter focal length. That could be it. 6-inch, 150 millimeter aperture. That's correct. And then you're going to buy the 183 CWO 183. I'm answering a very specific question now from Carlos. Let's see. Let's do like the M42. I always like the big Orion Nebula to look at the field of view. So that would be M42. And add to view. Holy moly. So yeah, you will have, like the resolution is 0.5. So you have half a degree by basically 0.34 of a degree of field of view. So I don't know if the issues with the images scale is that you're probably ending up with a little bit of oversampled pictures at 0.33 arc seconds per pixel. But can you also, because you're the Smith-Cassegrain telescope, you have to know that there are some inherent issues with it. The main thing with a regular Smith-Cassegrain telescope is, of course, and I need more coffee. I have had to think about it earlier. It suffers from coma. So what you can do is buy an additional coma corrector for Smith-Cassegrains, and usually they are about also they reduce your field of view by 0.67. So when we apply that, then your field of view is better. You have a 0.75 arc second by 0.5 arc second field of view and 0.5 arc seconds per pixel. That's still a little bit oversampled, but that would be better as compared to the native focal length, I think. But anyway, I don't know your specific circumstances, but I would maybe advise you to get a coma corrector, a 0.67 coma corrector with that Smith Cassegrain 6-inch. Because otherwise you will end up with elongated stars towards the edges of your field of view. Oh, and we have the similar problem again. My plate is fogging up. Oh, sorry you guys, I'm not taking care of the other messages. Mark Johnson, watching original Predator film and you on Bubble. The perfect combination from a cloudy Barcelona. Thanks, Mark. Ligas. Just started imaging the Pleiades, and then my laptop decided to have a 2-hour update. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, probably a Windows laptop, right? I'm also using those. Rafael, hi Wi-Fi. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, if you type in Wido, the spelling corrector often translates that to Wi-Fi. So hi Rafael. Misty Newell, got my Canon 60D, computer, telescope, adapter rings, and now I just need my tripod for camera. Okay, 60D, telescope, and my computer monitor so I can finally start this hobby. I hope you get it soon, Misty. I have an Edge HD 11-inch, the S Kinger, on a CGX, using an off-axis guider, the way to go. A lot of scope to set up daily. I would like to get the 8-inch to go with my lighter mounts. Yeah. Your use of the 8-inch is what caught my attention. Oh, that's great. Yes. I like the Edge HD partly also because it's pretty portable. So it's about 6 kilograms. I am always struggling with the American pounds. I think like it's then 12 pounds or something. So it's not light, but it's pretty portable. You can carry it around and it's easy to set up. So of course my EQ6R Pro is a little bit heavier. But I think the EQ6R Pro might be similar to the CGX. Maybe the CGX is a little bit heavier, but if you want to go a little bit towards the like a lighter weight version of the C11 setup you're using, then the 8-inch is definitely a good option, I think. Because the Edge HD 11-inch, I don't know, you have a focal length of 3000, I guess, or even more. So that you are going to get a scope that has a smaller focal length, so you will get a wider field of view probably. But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far with that with this telescope. Going to take deep sky and moon pictures. Yes, Misty. Just saving up to get a Star Adventure sky tracker. Yeah, and when you're going to take images of the moon, you might also want to buy a longer focal length lens for your Canon 60D, or a very small telescope with it. Simonas Miguzis. Should I buy the Edge HD or is it not a good OTA? Well, of course I'm biased because I'm using the Edge HD here. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. And Simonas, I have a review, I have 2 videos on the Edge HD. First, a video when I just got it, so kind of an unboxing video and a first light video. But maybe you should look at the other one. So I did a second review after 6 months, where I also showed you, I showed you what kind of deep sky pictures I have taken with the Edge HD, and also I share some general experiences, and they are pretty positive. Also photographing, I see. Yes, Buku. And you as well then, probably. We have Eric. I just scored an old Hardin Optics 8-inch. Sounds good. I don't know exactly what the Hardin Optics is. And now I'm curious. What is the software that you are using at the moment? Yeah, I'm using, you can see it here on the top left, but probably you cannot really see it. But it's the Sequence Generator Pro, which usually works well, but tonight I had some issues. So that's Sequence Generator Pro, and this is actually sequencing software. So as an alternative, I see that other people use Nina. You also have other software tools, basically. Astrophotography tool is a famous one. But what you can do here is plan your sequence. So what I can do in Sequence Generator Pro, and that's why I also bought it for about $60, I think. So you can set up your camera, like I can show you here. This is an equipment profile manager. Oh, that's way too small probably for YouTube. But you can set up your camera, filter and filter wheel you're using. If you have a focuser, I don't have one at the moment, but you can also add a focuser. Your telescope mount, you can add it to Sequence Generator Pro, so you can automatically control your mount. And what I really like is that it also has a plate solving option. So basically it will slew to the target you want to image, and then it will take a picture and will compare that picture to star charts that already are uploaded in Sequence Generator Pro. Or actually you need to do some installation, but it will compare then the position of your equatorial mount and your telescope to the target you want to image, and then it will get that last slew, which really places your target in the dead center of your field of view. So that's really, really good to have. You can also connect PhD2 guiding. So that's another software tool I'm using. This is PhD2 guiding. So basically my mount is tracking the star, but tracking the object and the stars. But PhD2 guiding will also track a star, and it will send small corrections to the mount when the star basically moves from a position. So it will tell the mount to go up or down or left or right, and then your object stays in position, and you can take long exposure pictures. That's how it works basically. Ricky G, only thing bad about the Meade 8-inch is the focuser. It's not smooth at all. It's okay for astrophotography, really good for planetary. Okay. So that's something to take. Is it a one-speed focuser then? Because the Edge HD actually also, it has, I think it's a one-speed on the Edge HD as well. But does the Advanced Coma Free also have, what is it called? The mirror lock. I think it has mirror lock as well, right? It would be very nice to compare the two. Ricky, maybe you can, we can do a video. You can show your Meade 8-inch ACF, and I can show you the Edge HD, and we can compare both of them. I think a lot of people would be interested. Jack Gatsden, love watching your stuff. I have a Celestron 5-inch and have some incredible things. Have seen some incredible things. Yeah, it's always amazing to, the 5-inch, probably a Smith-Cassegrain telescope then, huh? Yeah, Jack. I know the first time I just watched or looked through a telescope at the night sky, I was really amazed. At first, the amount of stars that are just in our Milky Way alone, that's incredible. And then once I learned to track beautiful objects, beautiful nebulae and galaxies in the night sky, and it was really beautiful to photograph and to experience. So yeah, I know the feeling. If oversampling with a Smith-Cassegrain telescope and camera, usually binning 2x2 solves this. Yes, of course. It's over 2 o'clock, so if it's 2 o'clock, I stop thinking. So who was this? This was I don't know if the Spanish guy is still here. Or I'm looking for his name. Sorry, I'm very bad at remembering. Anyway, yes, definitely 2 times 2. We add to field of view. Ta-da! So then you have 1 arc second per pixel basically with that combination. That 6-inch Smith-Cassegrain telescope and the ASI 183.67 reducer and 2 times 2 binning. It will get you to 1 arc second per pixel. That's pretty funny. That would actually be a good option, maybe. I never checked that actually myself, but because I would say, because what is then the focal length? About the 1000, right? So maybe you're then better off buying a Newtonian 8-inch telescope, an f5. Anyway, but the Smith-Cassegrain, I like it because it is lightweight. Oh guys, this is not the best night. The mirror is fogging up again. Or the plate, I have to say. So I think I will call it a night soon. Let's see, is there any final notes you have for me, final questions? I've just sold my Skywatcher Dobsonian 300-inch. It was a big thing, yeah, yeah, Simonos. I guess it is, yeah. It would be crazy big. Now I've got a Skywatcher EQ5 and still want to do planetary photography, but I can't go above the 8-inch. Oh yeah, because of the tracking issue maybe. Or because of the weight issue on the Skywatcher EQ5. Is the Edge HD the best option for me? Yeah, Simonos, it depends a bit, because I specifically bought the Edge HD because it was not only good for planetary imaging, but also for astrophotography. So if you're looking for a telescope that is only for planetary imaging, you can also go with a regular Smith-Cassegrain telescope, or even a Maxitov telescope. So you have also the 150 and the 180 Maxitov telescopes of Skywatcher, and I think Celestron also has a Maxitov version. So you can check those out as well if you're only interested in planetary imaging. If you want to combine planetary with deep sky astrophotography and you're looking for one telescope that can do it all, then an Edge HD version is pretty good. And I don't know about the advanced coma-free telescope. It would also be a good option, the Meet ACFs. I just bought new filters as I think that may be the cause, but no issues with the Edge HD so far. Okay. Does it support ASCOM focusers? Because I made a do-it-yourself focuser that is running on ASCOM. Yeah, Lars, I'm assuming you're referring to the Sequence Generator Pro. And definitely, let's see. But I'm assuming, because I am using an ASCOM driver for my mount. I'm using an ASCOM driver also for, now not for my camera, by the way. But actually here you have other, what did you say? It's focuser, right? Oh, here, focus. Yeah, here you have an ASCOM simulator. So what does it have? ASCOM simulator focuser driver. I'm not sure, but that could maybe be an ASCOM driver. Celestron generic hub. I think you can then click on the ASCOM, for instance, and then if you have an ASCOM focuser, then it should be able to talk to your self-made focuser. Super great, by the way, that you can make your own astrophotography tools and your own astrophotography equipment. Oh my God, what did I do now? Cancel. The bubble is gone. So I called it bubble trouble, and now you see why. If we go a couple of frames back here, so wow, what a difference. Oh. Okay, Anyway, this is not the best night, but I'm grateful that my gear is working. Eric says 1 speed. Yeah, the Mead 8-inch. Andy Lee. Hi Wido, what are your thoughts on using a small refractor with a 4x Barlow power mate for planetary imaging versus a longer focal length such as a Smith Cassegrain telescope? Andy, I would love to see your pictures. Try it out, but I think you will suffer one main issue, and that is because you can of course crank up your focal length, but you can't get a wider aperture on that refractor. So when you have maybe a 4-inch or a 5-inch or maybe 5-inch refractor, 4.5, at one point magnification is not going to give you a higher resolution. So how can I put this? Let's just compare it to a bucket. So in a bucket, and when it rains, you have a bigger bucket, you will collect more water when it rains. The same goes basically for light you want to capture from the planet. So when you have a larger aperture on your telescope, you can catch more light, also from a planet. And if you have a smaller aperture, you can really zoom in on that planet, but it will not give you a more light to catch. Only a close-up view. So at one point you're going to suffer from what is called empty magnification in planetary imaging, but also astrophotography. So basically you will get a close-up picture with using a 5x power mate, for instance. It will get you to about maybe 2,000 or 3,000 millimeters of focal length, but because you lack the aperture, you're probably going to end up with a blurry picture of the planet. But prove me wrong. I would love to see it, because I always believe that I can calculate these things with an astronomy tool, for instance. But I always love to see just real life results from the field. Let's do it, Rick says. And you know, some people are really great at working with their gear and post-processing, and then you still end up with a better picture as compared to the guy that bought that C11 Smith Cassegrain telescope but has no idea how to use AutoStacker. I'm just saying. Alchemy. I just got a Williams Optics GT813 APO. Refractor, basically, with a Nikon Z7 II Z5. Oh man, I'm turning into the astrophotography gear oracle, but I'm not. Always, maybe a disclaimer here, always do your own research and always look at different people. Not only that one influencer or YouTuber you like, but just do your research. Also, when I'm buying gear, I'm also asking the astrophotography shop where I'm buying all kinds of stuff. I'm looking at cloudy nights. What other? We have cloudy nights. We have Stargazer Lounge. I think that's another big one. In the Netherlands, we have Astroforum.nl. Not related to my channel actually, but a very good Dutch website. Always check out those things before you make up your mind, basically. And I hope with my videos about processing and gear and everything, live streams, I hope to contribute a little bit of knowledge so you can make a better informed decision. But anyway, back to the question. The Ioptron EQ28 with the Ioptron Guider. Hope to get out for my second night after working out the kinks a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that would also be an interesting setup. Alchemy, I think. Alchemy, depending on the country you're from. Joep Remkes, that's definitely Dutch. Are you using a heated dew band? No. Yeah, Joep says, I'm curious because I bought a second-hand C9 9.25 this week with an unheated dew shield. I'm using the same setup. I'm now using an unheated dew shield. And you can see the results. It's not enough to keep out, at least not this night. Some nights it has been enough, but this night the fog is too heavy. So, I would definitely say, buy an additional dew heater. And I think there was somebody in the chat who referred to a very good dew heater. Because I was thinking about getting a couple of Astro Zaps. Anyway, I think we need to we both need to buy some extra stuff. Enrique Boenicker. Hey Wido, I'm late again. Enrique, better late than never, I always say. The best people, they show up late. Huh? Okay, Jim's Astro says, that sounds like a sharp setup. Yeah, definitely. The Ioptron setup. Ricky G. Hope skies clear up. I'll send you the meet video. Yeah, Rick. Would you like to participate in that? Okay, can you send me a message or something? Maybe on Instagram, direct chat, or you can also maybe reply in the comment section below this video or some other video, so we can get in touch. I really would like to check out the Meet ACF versus the Edge HD. Would be very interesting. Hello, Garnet Leary. Hello, Garnet, the Oracle of Alderstackert. Garnet, you put some good tips. I saw in the. I don't know exactly. Was that you? Was one person who put a lot of interesting comments in the Autostackert. Oh, there's my wife. I think I have to quit the live stream. Oh, no, it's one of my daughters. She needs to go to the bedroom. Yeah, I'm waking up people here, so I need to. I'm pretty enthusiastic when talking to you, but unfortunately everybody is asleep. That's also why I need actually. I would really need a separate observatory. That would be great. But with the cozy like some heating, right? Anyway, Garnet, I thought you were talking about a PIP, right? So when you're imaging the planet, but you're not using. You're using a Dobsonian, for instance, and then the planet wobbles a bit, and maybe it goes across your field of view and will be, like it crosses your field of view basically. Then there is, I didn't know that, so thanks for informing me. You have a program called PIP that can stabilize the planet, I guess, in the center of your video. And in the Autostackert video, I made like a comment that you can resize your video because then the processing time would be less. But you rightly mentioned that when you have a Dobsonian mount and the tracking is not so good, you might need that space to get all of the frames in for that particular planet. All right, Lars is also here. I didn't just make my focuser myself, I also turned my normal EQ5 in a go-to with Astro EQ, and I can achieve around 0.7 arc seconds with my 150 PDS. That's great. Lars, I think there's a great future for you working on new astrophotography gear. Ashwin, which telescope are you using now? Yeah, I said it a couple of times, but right now I'm using a fogged up Edge HD 8-inch telescope. I remember you had an RC6 or an RC8. How did that go with the collimation? I got my new one, but out of collimation. Yeah, Ashwin, I really hope you get that thing collimated. I didn't have an RC8, right, by the way. I should have bought the RC8. But I bought, it was like a classical Cassegrain classical Cassegrain 8-inch. It had a Richie Chrétien setup. What I did wrong, I think, in the end, is I was using some basic collimation tools to get that Richie Chrétien collimated, and actually I see a lot of people who have bought the RC telescopes. They are using an advanced laser collimation procedure to get those telescopes in collimation. So I would really suggest you Google on advanced collimation of a Richie Chrétien with a laser collimator. You will probably find some videos out there of guys or girls who were able to do it. I struggled for it was a nightmare for me. I struggled for 2 or 3 weeks. I spent whole nights, like from 10 o'clock until 3 or 4 a.m. 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Gewoon under the stars, trying to get a focus on the planets. Anyway, I didn't succeed, and then at the end I just decided to return that telescope, and I got the Edge HD 8-inch instead, and that arrived on my doorstep, and it was immediately in collimation. And also the collimation procedure of a Smith Cassegrain telescope, I really like it because it's much easier as compared to a Richie Chrétien collimation procedure. But that's just my opinion. Garnet, yes, that was me. I would like to participate. Ashwin, you would like to participate as well? That's great. Leave me a message. We can all participate in a video. Hello, everyone. That's impressive. Hi, Wido. Hey, Martine. Martine, it's 2:30. It's 2:15. So I was almost ending the stream, and then all of my friends come. The time difference. I need to move to the east coast, maybe, of the US. But I think my family would have issues with that. Thanks, Garnet. Hi, Garnet. Thanks, Wido. Martin, nice to meet you here. Hello. Garnet, meet Martin. Martin, meet Garnet. Joep, welterusten. Looking forward to your Registex video. Yes, Joep, welterusten as well. It's been cloudy and rainy here in Ohio for several days. Yeah, Martin, I know. It is the same here. You're now looking at a fogged up image of the Bubble Nebula. So you missed, I think, the first hour, but you can see what happens here. So when I scroll back, you can see that I basically cleaned my plate. I'm always so Sequence Generator Pro is a little bit slow, and then I move back too far. But anyway, my plate is fogging up. I don't have a dew heater. I do have a dew shield, but that's not enough to keep out the fog. You need to stay up later. Yeah, Martin. Do you know my kids? They are awake at 7 again. They are awake at about 4 hours. In about 4 hours, and then I have to be cheery all over again. Ashwin, I'm in Melbourne. Where are you, Wido? Melbourne, Australia, I guess. Is there another Melbourne? No. I'm in the Netherlands, Ashwin. That's basically, I think, exactly the other part of the other side of the world. So that's great about internet, right? That's another great Dutch invention. I do have to shout out, I have been putting out an AutoStaggered video, and I'm going to put out a Registex video, hopefully next week. Both of those tools, they are used across the world, and they are developed by Dutch developers. I didn't know that at first, but AutoStaggered is developed by Emiel Krijkamp, and Registex has an international developer team, or it had an international developer team. But the main developer was also Dutch, Cor Berrevoets. So I was quite impressed that we have some dedicated software developers in the Netherlands that have put out this freeware that is being used across the world. So I was pretty impressed. And I just hope that by making a couple of videos about those software tools, people can learn from that and keep on using that freeware. It's not often that you see this freeware anymore. A lot of stuff like Sequence Generator Pro, this is subscription based now for $60 a year or something. I think Nina is still free, right? And maybe Astrophotography tool. PhD 2 guiding, of course, also freeware. I really love these initiatives. Anyway, unfortunately, Astro Gear is not freeware. Enrique Boeneker, Utrecht. Yes, I'm from Utrecht. Utrecht in Dutch. So that's the Netherlands. I would say if you are in Ohio or you're living in the States, I think the whole of the Netherlands is close by. Because when you drive for about 2 hours, you're either at the most southern point of the Netherlands, or the most northern point of the Netherlands. So yeah. But Utrecht, is pretty close to Amsterdam. It's like 20 minutes from Amsterdam. A bit in the center of the country. What time is it there? Yeah. Now narrowband channel. It is almost 2:30. So I wanted to end the live stream a couple of times. But you keep on asking interesting questions and I'm having fun. I love your videos and I started my channel too. Now Ashwin, that's great. Everybody check out Ashwin. Is it Ashwin? Greetings from Melbourne, Australia. From India to finished products. What is your turnaround time on making a video? Yeah, that depends on the video. I see. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit. I see a lot of channels going to shorts, and I don't know. I also have put out some short videos, 1-minute videos out there, and they are in a different format for viewing on your phone. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of time making a shorts video, and you get a lot of exposure. Whereas when you're making like a long-winded video on AutoStacker, you're not necessarily getting the same traction. So, but actually, it is also a little bit on what you want to do with your astrophotography channel, I think. Do you want... I want, for me personally, I would like to have this balance where I sometimes do these live streams, like right now. This is not the best one, but anyway. I want to show you some tutorials to process your images. I also want to discuss some gear that is out there on the astrophotography market. And when there is a meteor flying around, I want to catch that and give you that up-to-date time lapse of that meteor that is maybe passing our solar system. So I like doing different stuff. And sometimes a video takes a day, and sometimes when you make an overview of astrophotography gear, it might take up to 2 or 3 weeks to prepare that. So, and I know some people are even working longer or even have staff. I don't have anyone. It's just me, myself, and I with my Canon M50 camera. But I like that actually. Are you talking about planets now? For planets, I use 4S/W. Yeah, Garnet and Martine are the experts, I think, on planetary imaging. Sharp Cap, PIP, AutoStacker, Regisex. Yeah, I skipped the PIP. So the live streams, I showed you, at least I showed you how I captured my videos in Sharp Cap. I was thinking about, because I put a very high gain setting there. I think I put like 85% gain on my, my 178 color camera. And Martine and Garnet, what do you think? Because I ended up with a pretty noisy video, or pretty noisy videos. And I read somewhere that that would be good because, and it's true that AutoStacker it stacks all of the frames, so you end up with a smoother picture. But I was just thinking maybe I should have increased the exposure time a little bit, or maybe tune down the gain a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on that. But then I have to wait. Enrique Boeneker. Never fails, ha ha ha. Timo Stem, wat een prachtig weer deze avond. NGC 7000, here I come. Timo is imaging the North America Nebula. And every time I speak to somebody from the US, they always remind me that it is not the North American Nebula, no. It's the North America Nebula without the N. Just so you know. The 178 is a great camera. Too low gain and you get odd artifacts too. Okay, that puts my mind to ease, Garnet. Yeah, because I was thinking when your gain is too low, you will probably maybe see some little shifting of the surface of the planets. But yeah, too low gain. Okay, guys and girls, maybe. I'm going to end the live stream, and I'm sorry for the fact that I'm not announcing these things. I will try to announce these live streams earlier, but on the other hand, the weather is pretty unpredictable, and I always want to do some show you something live in the sky. And I don't know, maybe I should just should also include some live streams without live imaging sessions, and so that I can just talk to you guys. But anyway, I will think about that. I don't know if you would like that or not. And I would say thanks for watching and thanks for joining the live stream. And I'm going to clean my Edge HD one more time. And hopefully I end up with maybe 10 or 15 pictures in H alpha of the hydrogen, of the bubble nebula, basically. Have a good night, everybody, or have a good evening or morning if you're in Melbourne, probably. And see you later. Bye-bye. At least when I know how to finish this live stream. Oh, it's on the other. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining. It's here. Yeah, I'm really going to end now.